Hello everyone and welcome to Whimsy Wednesday. I feel like the color or something's a little off, so maybe that'll self-adjust in a moment. It is the first Wednesday of May. There are birds singing outside, much to Clara's delight, most of the time. So I have been sewing more for myself and less for millinery the last several days. Though I do have a hat to show you. This pretty little girl is over in the shop. So this is my tapered crown style with the hand scalloped edge. This is the edge that I work by hand. And it's got this really pretty red, white, and blue with a little bit of green plaid ribbon. Really like this plaid. It's predominantly striped with just the faintest plaid going on in there. And this plume. So it's bright red, but it is so soft. And it wraps around. This is a vintage plume, and it's a wired vintage plume. So it's actually made up of several feathers there. You can see how it completely wraps around almost half of the hat. And it's light and fluffy. So I really like this cute little hat. I think somebody wants attention. It is definitely too big for me. I have such a wee head. So this is going to fit an average to a larger size head. Right, Clara? Now you got to get down. So I did use the narrower ties. This is where I'm starting to question my sanity this weekend. I'm not entirely sure if I ran out of my regular cotton sateen that I use for the ties, or if I misplaced it. Hi, do you know what you just did? You just knocked over my little basket pincushion. You did. At least this time it landed on the table. And you just knocked out a cat. You knocked out a cat. My arms are short. Okay, someone really wants attention. Okay. Bring the kitty back up. Let's see, can we move the Clara around so Clara's not giving butt shots? So now she's rubbing on the chair. Here, might as well give you a look at that. Hey, be nice. You gotta be nice. Yeah. Your tail of destruction is knocking everything over. Whoa, what in the world? Okay, usually we don't have this much tail destruction. Come on, over here. Over here, on your thing. Come on, let's care. Ow. Okay, so, well, that didn't go as planned, now did it? I have a new scratch. We're gonna see if the scratch bleeds before I show you the next thing, because the next thing is all white. And I want to close that curtain, but I would also prefer not to get scratched again, because I'm, well, orange, it looks like. I'm reaching over, be good. Okay, there we go. That's more like it. So, Clara was a barn cat at one point when she was little. So occasionally she gets a little more assertive than I would like. And yeah, that's bleeding a little bit. So let's move the kitties back. So these are the kitties that she keeps knocking over. If you're around for Christmas, then you saw some of these. I kind of made more than I needed, and I haven't figured out where to put them all or who to give them away to. I I haven't wanted to put them in the shop because that was not what they were intended for. So they're just kind of hanging out everywhere. All right. While my Scratch decides to do what it wants to do, why don't I show you what I found over the weekend? On Sunday, our local area flea market opened, and I decided to take a walkabout there. It was muddy. Like, it was really muddy. There were some spots where it was several inches deep of water. Parking was creative to problematic. I wasn't going to be surprised if I got back to my car and couldn't leave. Luckily, that was not the case. I can say that I almost wiped out a few times on the way in. I may have been a little more enthusiastic than I should have been, considering the mud situation. And I also probably should have worn boots instead of sneakers. So I'm walking in and I hit that slick kind of mud, that clay stuff. And I slid and arms in the air and there was some squealing. And no one looked. So either my mask concealed the squeal or everyone else was as excited as I was. So I wandered about, looked at a few goodies. I had a really pretty teapot in my hands, but I could not justify $80 on a teapot. Not that I had $80 with me. Saw an interesting wool embroidery piece that was flowers, large, framed, and that was either $75 or $80. $75 or $85, can't remember what the guy said now. Neat piece. He's the one I bought these things from. I'll show you in a moment. Saw the coolest hose cards. 19th century, really interesting piece. And then saw, you know, the random flea market-y stuff. A lot of dogs loving the mud. But it was just nice to be out and about. I did decide to leave as it got dark. It's not supposed to get dark that early in the morning, and yet it got dark, and you know how the air changes. I'm like, okay, time to go. And it was just about the time as I had wrapped up the laps around, because it's on what used to be a trotting horse track. So like the outer loop, the original outer loop of the what's now the flea market was the track, and then there's like roads or streets through the original track, and then some off loops. Anyway, so what I did find wasn't for me, but was for my mom. So I picked up, there's these two that are little twinsies, and then this one that I think is a bit older. These are butter molds, and the bottoms have little designs. And these, best I can tell, do match. Let's see if I can show them to you right side up. There we go. There you see how they basically match. So, thought that was cute. And then this one has a much deeper impression. And I think this was hand carved. I thought that was a nice one. There's one little chip out of it, but I think it'll make a nice design. She does do butter. She also has been making the Springerly cookies. And I gotta say, I was looking at these going, you know, why couldn't you also use it for the cookies? I'll have to find out. So I got her those, and I thought they were kind of cute. I have no idea how many she has at this point. Oh, I'm trying a new, to me, ginger beer because all of my choices were out at the store. So my shopper picked this one. I can't say that it tastes spicy as it says. It's definitely less sweet, which I like. It has a very green taste to me. But I've got 4 of them, so it might take me a while to decide, do I like it or not? As I try to drink with my cat. Clara, down please. Thank you. It has a few different tastes to it in each sip. What are the spices? I was not planning on dwelling on this, but it says spices. I don't know what the spices are. All right. So on to what I was going to originally show you. I finished my cap. Ta-da! So, this is not something I make often at all. This is actually the first one I've ever made for myself. I did make one for someone else years and years ago, and I said never, ever again. So, no, I will not make them for other people. I will make them for me, maybe for my sister. I do like how it came out. Let's see. Try to decide if I like how it's showing in the camera. Let's see. The first step that I did was a paper version. So I looked at lots and lots of pictures and the foundation shapes and created a 3-piece foundation. So that's the brim, this back piece. I don't know if you can see the back piece very well. There's a back piece here, and then the crown. Drew it out on paper, cut the paper out, did a fitting for my head. Decided that I didn't want it quite so deep, so took out a fold, basically. Retried it, liked it, did a mock-up in muslin, basted that together and on the main seams. Decided I liked the fit, with the exception of the cheek tab part, you know. Excuse me. So I rounded that out a little more, and then I cut out all the pieces. I'll put all of this over in the blog. Cut the pieces out. Did rolled hems on all of the pieces except for the very bottom of the back. This is actually a 1/4-inch hem in case I needed a drawstring. And then the crown itself is a rolled gather. So you roll and then you whip around and gather it. Got all the pieces together and then did the ruffles. And I haven't done ruffles in ages because I've been doing straw, and the muscle memory in your hands for doing straw is very different from working with finer fabric. So I calculated double the distance around the brim, double the distance around the crown, and then double the distance on the neckline. That's the length that I cut my fabric strips. This one is double, this one's double, the back one is single. I do kind of wish now that I'd done a little bit longer back. I think that's the only change. Oh, and I would have flipped this around. See how like I made it so one side was shorter, one side was longer? I would have done it so the longer one was forward and the shorter one was backward. And then it would just match the front. So my hair's down right now. I don't know if it'll look right, but come on. It looks funny with my hair down. I had it on my list to like grab a hair tie. Here's my little cheek thing. My little cheek thing. I should probably put ties on. That's the part I haven't done. So, you little rufflies. I'm not used to having rufflies around my head. But I think it came out okay. Pretty cute. Plenty of space up here for hair. Like I said, I'll do the little ties. No, I might not even need ties. Honestly, once I get my hair up, this will pin really nice and neat. I am realizing I will not need to wear earrings at all. I can skip earrings for when I'm doing this impression, which is probably best. And I think, I'm hoping my mask ties will go right through here and sit under this. And then still stay up, I hope. Usually I sit one tie up over my ear. So maybe I'll have to go under the cap. Because if I go up and try to tuck over my ear, that's going to mess up the cap. Yeah, it's weird to have to think through that. So I could have gone, I guess, a little, maybe it's because I don't have my hair up, a little narrower there. At one point, I was actually thinking about making this deeper and this shallower. So more of a shaped ruffle. I might still do that for another one. Because I have enough of this cotton voile to do one more. Because I think I'm going to do the lawn for the pelerine collar. What I don't know is whether, see, caps aren't really my thing. I don't know whether I should make it so that the ruffle sits up or press it down a little so it'll go forward. I can also pull these guys apart and make it fuller. This is fun. Let's see if we can see if that makes a difference in the camera. Yeah, you can see a little difference left to right there. Should have brought out one of my mannequins. So yeah, I think it's a little fuller when I pull them apart. So this is done. I have to make sure I don't get all my accessories done and not get my dress done. The dress's current state is halfway done on the skirt. It needs to get set on the waistband and it needs its hem tape attached. Hem tape is now here. Oh, we're just gonna put this over here because I want to go take a picture. So skirt needs to get set on the waistband. Hem tape needs to be put on. Bodice is currently pinned with the piping along the waist and arm size. Plan is to get that on tonight. I'm hand stitching all of that because I'm silly and enjoy sitting and relaxing despite the fact that I have a looming personally set deadline. Part of me thinks I should machine stitch it, but I'm gonna hand sew it because this is me. So I'll get that hand sewn on. If I get all that done, I will start another hat tonight. Otherwise, I'll be really too far behind. Then I have to draft the sleeves. So I'm going for the fuller sleeve, but I'm going to go for the 3/4 length, elbow length, basically, sleeve that I'm seeing on some of the shearer dresses. Though I am seeing shears with full length. The whole idea is this is supposed to be a working dress, a dress that I am sewing and working on the straw in. So that's why I want the shorter sleeves. I don't know what the fabric's going to do with being cut full. Because it's a semi-sheer shirting, it may just droop and flop. If it does, then I need to decide, did a working class woman doing working stuff around the house bother to put supports in her sleeves? Don't know. Big decision to make there. And then I'll have to decide what kind of supports. Part of me's thought about cording the sleeves. And another thing is I've also thought about dropping the sleeve a little with some cord set in or something tuck set in through the upper, like, hand's width. So then the poof fullness is in my lower upper arm, because this is a late 30s. The catch is I have big arms. So a lot of the fullness is really going to be arm, which may just solve part of the problem, let's be real. So if I try to drop it, I don't know if I can minimize the fullness enough to make the fullness look full below it. I don't know if that makes any sense, because the thickness of my arm is still going to be there. I don't know if I'll be able to pull that off or not. I'll have to play with it. We shall see. It might not be until, like, you know, the night before the event, before my sleeve decides what it wants to be. Like, I could set it in and then change it. That's another thing that I thought about doing. I thought about pulling in, tucking in the fullness at the top. So transitioning an early 30s to a later 30s dress. And then adding horizontal tucks that would look like little flounces. Or I could add those. I could add some bias as some ruffles. Lots of different options. We'll see what I actually decide to do and what I have time to do. Who knows, I may do one thing for the first wearing and then decide to change it up a little bit for the second wearing. I've done that before for some dresses. So that's where that's at. Rundown of projects. I think that's everything. I had to box some things up tonight. I'd love to box up that hat. I do think it came out really cute. It's just so bright and cheery. It's a happy little hat. Then after that, I have lots of little things. Silly. It's the Cap to Crown Challenge. So of course there's going to be a crown coming. Not a big crown, just some kind of crown, yet to be determined. I have a few ideas like bouncing around, but I will come up with a crown during the Cap to Crown Challenge. And I think that's going to wrap it up for this week. I've got to go take another photo of this, so it will be on the blog. So if you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to hop over to my blog. You want, if I had my own blue box, for the historical aspects of what I do, that's where the pictures and info for the cap will be. I've decided I'm going to put my, I don't want to call it a pattern, but my templates for the cap over on Patreon as soon as I get it inked up and scanned. It's going to be this one plus a couple of the other versions that I sketched out. So that'll be a little treat for my patrons over there. And I think, all right, I'm going to wrap it up this time. Really will. All right. Everybody have a wonderful week, wonderful weekend, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.